Hi, I'm Shaka Hislop, and you're here at Extra Time TV.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Hey everyone, welcome. This is Andre Suklal. I don't know if you guys are hearing me. I'm hastily putting together this live stream. For those of you who don't know, I'm a massive Inter Milan fan, but today, as requested by a couple people, I'm going to try to do a live stream for the Barcelona Atletico Madrid game. I have no horse in this race, folks. I'm just kind of taking in the game and going to enjoy the Champions League like everybody else. You know, I'm a huge fan of Argentina, but I'm a massive fan of Inter Milan. So my team is out. So obviously I'm not going to pay much attention to what's happening with the other teams. But I have to be honest. It's a bit disappointing with Inter Milan, and we'll talk about that. But if you're just joining us, this is new. I didn't advertise this. I didn't post it anywhere. I didn't tell anybody. Whoever wants to join on and take it in, you can let me know. Let me know if you're hearing me okay. I'm from Trinidad and Tobago. For those of you, I know I have a lot of viewers from outside Trinidad and Tobago. So I'm a Caribbean guy taking in the Champions League today, just like any other fan. Naturally, there's a lot of players from Atletico Madrid I like. I'm a huge Argentinian fan. I do like, you know, some of the players there. And, you know, we'll see how it goes. You know, Simeone, I have a love-hate relationship with him. And I would like to see them go far. So, Clovis, Mukan, I remember you. Bonsoir. Comment. Let me make sure I can read your comment. So, we're good. We have our first person in here. You know, let me know who you're a fan of. Clovis, I think you were on the live stream as well when we did the, when we spoke about... I can't remember what the live stream was about, but we spoke about AFCON and things like that. So from what I'm seeing here, you know, the teams are getting on the pitch, doing their pre-match talk or whatever. So usually I'm quite stressed out for these games, but I'm relaxed. I'm looking at this game as a neutral. And, you know, for people who are slowly joining in, you can let me know if you're a fan of, you know, Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, you know, my Inter Milan boys out there, if you're even looking at the game. You know, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts. So, formations, as expected, 4-4-2 for Simeone. It popped up on the screen and it just left. I'm assuming Barcelona will play their 4-3-3. Big surprise. You know, I have a lot of friends who are Barcelona fans. So, I'm looking at the Atletico Madrid's lineup. Musso in goal. Ruggeri. Okay, it keeps popping up and then going back down. So, I don't know why that's happening. I hope I have a good feed. So like I said, folks, if you're just joining us, this is an unusual live stream. I don't usually do this, but Atletico Madrid, I have to fix my lower third. I'm seeing my graphic is a bit off here. So I'm going to fix that while we're talking because it's saying Atletico Madrid, Barcelona versus Trinidad and Tobago, which obviously is not the case. So let me fix that really quickly. And I don't know why I did that, but I'm going to fix that right now. Right now. So I don't know why it's doing that, but I'm going to close off a couple of these things. Ah, there we go. It's fixed. So like I said, you know, Atletico Madrid were in the serious business end of the Champions League. My team is out. And I support Inter Milan. Like I said, you know, a lot of people usually come on this live stream for Trinidad and Tobago games. I have a live stream here that's a bit unreliable. I hope the game plays like it's supposed to play. Like I said, it's a bit of a last minute stream that I put together, and I hope it works. I hope it works. So from moments in time in the game, I will take some pauses. So the game hasn't kicked off yet, so I'm going to step away for a couple seconds and fix a couple things, and I'll be back. Hey everyone, so I'm back. Like I said, I did not plan this stream where, 4 minutes and 30 seconds in on my stream. As expected, Atletico Madrid lined up with the 4-4-2. Barcelona with a 4-2-3-1. I'm seeing, Barcelona applying the pressure on Atletico Madrid, I think. But now, Julian Alvarez getting a shot. So, folks, I did lose my stream for a couple seconds. Julian Alvarez looking dangerous very quickly into the game. I'm going to update my time really quickly because it's a bit off. Make sure it's correct. I hope it's working. Let's see. So it's 5. Anyway, so Atletico Madrid, as expected, trying to take hold of the game because we know what happened over the weekend, the red card and so on. I'm seeing Lookman here causing some problems. It's wrong to say Atletico Madrid has that sort of stereotypical defensive style of football because I haven't seen that for some time now. I'm trying to sync the game up, folks, in case you're wondering what I'm doing. And, the results have been a bit mixed. In terms of, we saw Barcelona suffer a heavy defeat from Atletico Madrid in the Copa del Rey, but then they almost came back. This game over the weekend, was very close. And, Juliano Simeone scoring first, then there was a red card. And, I think Simeone may take some heart into this. But Barcelona in the attack, Yamal doing what he does best, cutting in. And, I've been observing Yamal, since he's extremely talented. But one thing I've noticed is that I think, he does seem for now to have a bit of a... But I guess if you can pull it off and it works, he kind of drags you out and then he cuts in and usually curls the ball to the far post. But Atletico Madrid on the attack. Lookman looking pretty aggressive, cutting the ball back. Alvarez already having a chance early in the game. So like I said, folks, I don't have any horse in this race. I'm just taking this game in as a fan today. I'm from Trinidad and Tobago. I'm an Inter Milan fan, but, I'm just enjoying it. So I'm seeing in the replay here, Barcelona did have a chance early on, but a good save from Musso. I did have some technical difficulties, but we're, 6 minutes approaching the 7th minute. It's still 0-0. Atletico Madrid creating also a bit of a half chance with Julian Alvarez. And I think with each time they play each other, I feel as if Atletico are getting a little bit stronger. I think it actually benefits Atletico. They get a bit more confident. They're not the most silky passing team. So there's a corner from Atletico Madrid. Julian Alvarez taking it. A short corner, it didn't work. Intercepted by, I can't see who that is. And as expected, a pretty tasty foul. I can't see who it is, but it looks like a yellow. Is it going to be a yellow very early in this game? Oh, it's from the Capitan. So Koke, I'm not sure if he's going to get a yellow card. But, we're approaching the 8th minute. It's 0-0. And for everybody who's in the live stream, let me know your thoughts. What do you think about this game? I did not advertise this stream. A lot of people don't know about this stream. I'm basically just kind of winging this right now. I'm looking at this game as a fan and nothing else. If I have to lean towards that side, I'm guessing it's like Atletico Madrid because they have a lot of Argentinian players. I'm not a huge fan of Simeone's tactics. There's some of it I like. I liked him as a player. I think a lot of people wrongfully kind of brand him as this ugly defensive player. But I think that's a bit of an unfair, unfair thing. I think people remember the David Beckham incident. And yes, he's a physical player. He's not afraid to get physical. But, he was very creative in his own right at one point in time. So, Yamal cutting in, doing what he does best. Atletico doing well to close him off, crossing the ball in. It looks pretty back and forth here so far, folks. Barcelona as well, cutting in, looking a little bit dangerous. So far, in the last 2 or 3 minutes or so, I haven't seen any really dangerous shots from Barcelona, except for that one in the replay. Simeone getting kind of left for dead there for a second there. So Atletico Madrid, the thing is when they play Barcelona regularly, I think they get more and more comfortable with the opposition. I mean, I saw a little bit of nervousness in the second leg in the Copa del Rey. And, you know, truth be told, I don't think that's going to happen this time around. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I got a little bit of a freeze on my live stream here. So I'm going to refresh that and hopefully it works. Oh, there we go. It's back. So, yeah. It looks 50-50 so far, folks. It looks 50-50 so far. So, Julian Alvarez battling up front. One of my criticisms, I don't like, as talented as he is, I don't like that Simeone uses Julian Alvarez for everything. I feel as if, you know, he's a striker, but he does the free kicks, he does the corners, and he's talented enough to do it, yes, but I feel like it's too much on him. And, you know, maybe you know, like for Argentina, for example, you know, he's used as a striker. He's young. He pressures the ball. But, you know, I do wonder if that affects his game. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. So it's a bit of a, you could see the 50-50 tackling. You know, kudos to Atletico. And it's not like they're sitting back. They're being combative. You know, defense has not been one of their strong points this season. And the last season as well. Lookman on the ball here. You know, causing a lot of problems. Ball is out wide to Juliano Simeone. Ooh. Simeone has been quite exciting for this team, and you know it's not just because he's the son of Diego. You know, he's getting a lot of opportunities. I saw when I went to Paris for the Olympics. You know, he was very exciting on that right side. He can attack, he can defend, so he can play as a right wing back if required. You know, he could play both positions. He gets in attacking positions. Perhaps his finishing isn't the greatest yet. You know, but his ability to take on players 1v1, be physical, is very exciting. Olmo on the ball here. I'm going to just update a few things while we're talking. A couple of people are asking me to share the link, so I'll do that. I will do that. So like I said, I didn't put this out there. I don't expect a lot of views on this, but I hope it, you know, people start coming in. You know, my usual viewers are probably at work right now in Trinidad and Tobago. I'm going to pull this up really quickly. Really quickly. So Atletico, Candice, Atletico 2, Barcelona. Yeah, I mean, I would like to see that. I would like to see that. I would love to see that. So far, so good for both teams, I guess. I think, you know, I'm not a huge fan of the away goal going away. I have pros and cons about it. But it is kind of exciting. In case you all are wondering what I'm doing, I'm just kind of sending the link to a couple people. So Barcelona trying to pressure up front. We're in the 12th minute. And both teams are kind of battling. It's a very intense battle. I would say Atletico did create, and this is, take this with a grain of salt, you know, the better chances so far. So far. Yes, so I had to stop for a second because a couple of people are asking for the link. Like I said, I don't expect a lot of viewers, so be sure to join in, share with your friends. Obviously, I'm leaning towards the Argentinian player because I'm a huge fan for the World Cup. Barcelona whipping the ball in with a chance. And Musso, the ball whipping across the goal there from Rashford. You know, people, you can let me know what you think about Rashford when eventually you all come in. Let's take a look at our replay here. So cut in. Cut across to Rashford. Rashford was somewhat free. I felt as if he had a bit more time to take that shot. So Barcelona are using the 4-2-3-1 formation. And Simeone, of course, using the 4-4-2. Ruggeri, Hanco, Lenormand, Molina is the back four. Musso in goal. Simeone, Llorente, Koke, Lookman. And the midfield for Julian Alvarez, Griezmann. For Barcelona, according to this, Lewandowski up front with the 4-2-3-1. Yamal, Olmo, and Rashford. Eric Garcia, Pedri as the two DMs. And the back four of Koundé, Kubarsi, Martin, Cancelo, Garcia in goal. But so far, I think Atletico Madrid have been doing a good job. I think a lot of people, Simeone and everybody, was angry about not just the red card. I think the red card for Atletico was deserved, but the red card that was rescinded for Barcelona. Nico Gonzalez catching the ball. I'm not too sure what he was trying to do. But, he got a red card and they thought it was even equal. And of course, that sort of changed the game. So Atletico, whipping in across there, doing well to get it. Barcelona doesn't have the greatest defense. A bit of a team effort. I'm not sure what Griezmann tried there. I don't know if he tried to chip it in. I thought he would have blasted it. So Lookman doing well, causing Koundé some problems. They're claiming for a handball. And they didn't show the replay of that particular shot. So folks, I'm going to post up the link for a couple people inside here who want to see it. So I'm going to do that really quickly. I'm going to just be quiet for a couple seconds. Like I said, everybody out there, I know this was not, I did not advertise this. I didn't share this. This is a bit of a surprise. I'm looking at this just as a fan like everybody else. And, hopefully you all enjoy this. Hopefully you all enjoy this and like and subscribe. Usually my Trinidad and Tobago streams are the big ones. But, we'll see how it goes. So, don't forget to like when you're joining in. And for everybody who is going to join in eventually, like I said, I did not advertise this. I didn't tell people. And, I don't expect a lot of viewers because a lot of people have been asking me to do a lot of these games. I will be doing this for the World Cup. Also, let me know if you're hearing me okay. I'm just fixing my screen behind. So, Atletico once again on the attack. Lookman is causing problems. He does make a difference. He's playing out on the left but drifting in. Kind of like he could switch to a cam or like a roaming left-sided player. Juliano, of course. Griezmann calling for a handball. He is very adamant it's a handball. And we all know, listen, I'm a neutral. I'm an Inter Milan fan. But Atletico has been on the receiving end of some really dubious calls in the Champions League and in the league in general. They usually don't get the better of the calls in these kind of games, from what I've seen over the years. So, Simeone and Atletico Madrid in possession. Barcelona not looking as dangerous as I would expect, but all it takes is one goal for this game to open up. Both teams have the quality to do so. I think Atletico are doing a pretty good job closing things down, but just as I said that, Yamal cuts them open, and it's a goal for Barcelona. Is it a goal or is it offside? It looks offside, yes. I was literally going to say the commentators curse. Barcelona thought they had their first goal. Let's take a look at the replay. Is it valid? So it's through. Oh, yes, it is. Yamal being slightly offside. I think, if I'm not mistaken, was that Pedri? So Atletico are going to have to take a look at this. I was just about to praise them for closing down the Barcelona midfield, and literally while I was saying that, they created a pass. So I don't know if this lineup is accurate. So let me check. So according to FOTMob and SofaScore, Molina and Simeone, Griezmann. I don't know, man. This is not looking right. I'm gonna have to check something out here. This looks a bit off. It looks a bit off. So let's look at SofaScore, what they're saying. So Molina, Simeone, Alvarez, Griezmann. I think I got it right the first time. So it's 0-0. Barcelona almost getting a chance if you're just joining us, folks. Barcelona getting a chance, but it was called offside. Now, like I said, I have no horse in this race. I'm totally relaxed in the EXTV studio today. I'm just a fan taking the game in. I was asked by people to, to really to take a look at this game. I did share it out there, so those who want to share it and take a look at it. I know you're just joining in. I know a lot of people are used to me doing Trinidad and Tobago games. But this is, I think, the second time I'm doing a game. So like I said, I didn't advertise it. I'm not expecting too much views, but everybody knows I'm an Argentina fan. So I'll naturally have a preference towards Atletico Madrid today, but I am an Inter Milan fan. Let's just make that clear. I think in the last couple of games, Atletico Madrid have been a bit hard done. When I did start the stream, Alvarez had a chance. Also, Barcelona had two chances. One went in the net just now, but it was offside. So, let's see how that goes. Let's see how it goes. So Barcelona applying some pressure here. But I think mostly Atletico Madrid are doing well. They're not just sitting back. I'm seeing what Simeone is trying to do differently this year. He is trying to make the team a bit more dynamic in attack, bringing in Lookman to, kind of take the pressure off Alvarez. And, you have Griezmann and those guys. I wish DePaul stayed there, but he decided to go into Miami. I actually don't like that. But, I guess he won the World Cup, so, in his mind, I just hope it doesn't affect his Argentina performances. So, just looking here. Barcelona keeping possession. Doing not too bad. I think with all things considered, outside that last opportunity, Atletico are doing a good job stifling Barcelona a little bit. It's not the cliche, quote-unquote, ugly cholo football that people are talking about. So, that is one thing. I'm just fixing something here as we speak, making sure my game is here. So like I said, folks, I know I did not create a share link or a hype link for this. So a lot of people, if you're joining us, welcome. I know a lot of people have been asking me to do this. I will be doing these for the World Cup. 100% I'll be doing it for the World Cup. And I think more than likely I will be doing, obviously, the Argentina games, as well as whatever games I get time to do. So we're in the 21st minute. It is still 0-0. The game is, I think Atletico would be happy so far, with the exception of that chance that Barcelona created. So Barcelona there's some space on the top of the box there. A through ball that could have been tricky, but it wasn't. Aimed for Rashford. So Rashford is out wide along with Yamal. So you can see what they were trying to do here. I think with a quicker ball, they're showing that the offside thing. So Yamal it was pretty obvious he was offside. It was pretty obvious. So like I said, folks, if you have the link and you want to share it with your friends and people, let them know. Jump in and support the stream as well. This is not one of my usual streams, like I said. This is unusual. I'm doing the Barcelona game. Like I said, it's a hastily put together stream. But I'm doing my best to try to make it work. And, continue to support the channel. There won't be any Trinidad games for a while. So I will be doing the World Cup. I will be doing some videos with the World Cup as well coming up. So look out for those. And, just let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts about how you think your team is going to go. Who you're supporting in this game, things like that. So, Barcelona slowing things down, probing, looking for openings. Atletico covering those passing lanes as expected. I know it's a 4-4-2, but these things are kind of like guidelines. When not in possession, it changes. So you could switch to a 4-2-3 when they're pressing. Barcelona trying to patiently create gaps, but Atletico doing enough to kind of not make them have that free-flowing football that people want to expect from Barcelona. Atletico drawing a foul. Simeone, in a lot of ways, replicating his dad's spirit. So I thought it was on Simeone, but I think it was on Lenormand, I think, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. So, folks, let me know what you think about this game. So I think Atletico Madrid are doing well so far. Atletico Madrid would like to get on the score sheet first. But what I would like to say with Atletico Madrid is that they are no longer the watertight defensive team that they were a couple years ago. They do concede goals. So this is a problem. It's a problem of identity with Simeone. In the past, they accused him of being boring. I personally don't think so. But at least they would not concede. They would lock things down. They would get physical. This team cannot do that. I don't think the centre-back pairing is strong to balance this team. I think when DePaul left, they lost something. I think that's why Lookman came in. They do lack that balance in midfield sometimes. But they do have a soft centre. And I think that's why they were looking at Cuti Romero from Tottenham and players like that. Because I think Simeone has identified he needs some powerful centre-backs. Long gone are the days of Miranda and those guys. Godin. Those types of players. He needs to really get some top players in there. I hope my mic is sounding okay. And once again, the physicality is showing itself. Simeone once again proving to be a dangerous outlet down the right wing. Barcelona are clearly doing what they need to do. And, take Simeone out. So Simeone was Cancelo taking him out. Portugal versus Argentina here. So there is a bit of a Molina. Did not start regularly for Atletico this season, but he's starting to hit some form. He scored some bangers of a goals. Bangers. That's my fake American accent. So like I said, folks, people, this is usually, I'm from the Caribbean. I usually have a lot of Caribbean people looking at my stream. I know a lot of people at work right now. A lot of people are not expecting me to do the stream, but I'll be doing a lot of these and some watch-alongs. And it's a Champions League. And I'm looking at this as a neutral. And I'm having fun. You can't see it, but there's a Julian Alvarez jersey behind the Argentina one on Atletico. But I am an Inter Milan fan. So 48% possession for Barcelona, 52% for Atletico Madrid. So strange seeing Atletico Madrid having more possession. Not by much, but still, still pretty shocking. But I think with each game that goes by, I mean, they've played each other in such competitive games this season that the more Atletico plays, I think the more they get comfortable playing against a team like Atletico Madrid. Barcelona. And I think Barcelona, while they are very talented, Olmo and all these guys, Yamal, Rashford as well with pace, I do think they also have a soft center. So, they definitely, are capable of conceding goals. We saw earlier in the season, I think it was, 5-0, was it? In the first leg, but then Barcelona showed they could score as well. So, Simeone is probably trying to find that balance. That balance. And, Flick as well. Everybody talks about his high line. Do Atletico Madrid have the pace to hurt that high line? A lot of people have criticized the high line. But, Barcelona are set to win till this La Liga, barring a monumental collapse. But, who knows? Who knows how it's going to go? So there's a bit of a shot there. Barcelona probing. And there seems to be a bad injury there. I did have a glitch in my stream here for a second, so I missed a shot. So Barcelona whipping it in. Seemed like an innocuous sort of 50-50. Oh, I missed it. I was looking at the wrong person. So it seems off the ball. Is Koke injured? So it seems like he pulled up. Is it his hamstring? Is it? He's in a lot of pain. That was definitely not faking. Definitely not faking, folks. He is down and he looks like he's in a lot of pain. He's in a lot of pain, folks. Ooh, yeah, he's not okay. It could be, it looked like a torn hamstring. That's what it looked like to me. So if you're just joining us, folks, I know a lot of people won't be joining because this stream is an unexpected one. It's 0-0 right now. So I just paused for a second there because a lot of people have been asking me to join in to watch along. So clearly an injury there. It looked really bad. I mean, he was just standing there and fell to the floor. So I think this is Lenormand coming on. So earlier I did say that. But obviously the lineup I was reading was wrong. So yeah, he looks very much in pain. Is he going to come back on? So I'm looking at the replay here. It was Barcelona swinged in across. There was nobody on him and he just pulled up. So let's see who the substitute is going to be. And folks, you could let me know eventually if you're watching the stream. Even if you're not watching the stream live, you could let me know who you think is going to win. What do you think? Who you think is going to win the Champions League, and things like that. So like I said, folks, this stream is. I didn't advertise this a lot. We're approaching the 30th minute, and Barcelona 0, Atletico Madrid 0. Both teams creating some chances. Barcelona having a couple clear ones. One was called for offside. I saw earlier, my stream glitched a little bit that Julian Alvarez created something, but, I think it's a bit of a 50-50 game so far. Atletico clearly, I don't know if they made the substitution yet, but Yamal taking on his players on the wing, causing some problems, trying to destabilize the Atletico Madrid defense. Doing good to get the ball in the box there. I think it's Julian Alvarez trying to take some pressure off the team. And, you know, it's never good when you have your goal-scoring outlets out there. Very good cross in. Very good save by Musso. Very good save. Now, Musso has been conceding goals, but there was a very effective cross into the box. Musso getting a hand to it. And, you know, stopping what could have been a goal number 1 for Barcelona. So, at first it was a little bit 50-50 Barcelona were creating. So, Olmo whipping the ball in. Rashford getting in on it to the far post, but getting under Musso. Musso almost making a mess of it, but he did well enough to recover. So, Atletico Madrid now getting some possession. So, now they're not getting as much passing combinations as they did earlier in the game. They're resorting to counterattacks. Barcelona are starting to get a bit more comfortable. While the possession is not, you know, dominant from Barcelona, they're starting to get more effective. But Atletico doing enough to disrupt it. But it's very much a midfield battle. Atletico, Koke getting his first yellow on Olmo. So, you know, it's a big battle. So there's a substitution here. So I'm guessing, is it Lenormand is coming on? No, who is that? I can't see. Oh, so Hanko is coming off and Pubil is coming on. So, like I said, you know, I'm not a huge fan of Atletico Madrid centre-backs. I think they're not very strong in terms of the style of football Simeone wants to play. This is a team that really has, in the past, relied on being compact, you know, getting not exceptionally pretty goals and not conceding. You know, when they had Miranda and these guys, why can't I remember his name? The Uruguayan, and they had strong centre-backs. Barcelona causing some problems. Yamal causing a lot of problems. Atletico calling for a handball, but he was causing some havoc in the Atletico Madrid box there. You know, as expected. I know this is a good indication. You know, we're heading into the World Cup. I know there's a lot of, there was no finalissima. But, you know, Atletico Madrid and, you know, Barcelona, we're getting to see some of the Argentinian players kind of face off against, you know, a lot of the Spanish core in the Barcelona team. And it's interesting to see that matchup, although, you know, there's no player on the left side to really work with Yamal. Barcelona with a shot outside the box. Scorcher of a shot. Going just wide. Let me take a look at that replay. Yeah, Musso doesn't look comfortable. I mean, I liked him at Udinese, so I'm looking at the replay here. Yamal causing a lot of problems. Cutting in and out. Getting past Lukman. Koke. Causing, wow, he did cause a lot of havoc. And he had that close ball control. Griezmann was calling for a handball, but I don't see what he was talking about. Maybe just to, you know, mess with the ref a little bit. So Barcelona are starting to apply the pressure now. They are starting to apply the pressure and testing Simeone, knocking at Atletico Madrid centre-back wall. And like I said, they are hardly impregnable. They are conceding a lot of goals. The last couple seasons, they don't have that shutout mentality. They do concede goals. They do make some silly mistakes. We saw it last year in the Champions League as well. And like I said, I think Atletico, they don't have that strong centre-back pairing that they used to have in the past. I don't know why I can't remember the other guy's name. The Uruguayan, I mentioned him earlier, but, you know, there was Miranda and these types of guys who were playing there. And, you know, he went to Inter Milan. My goodness, why can't I remember his name? I can't remember his name at all. But Barcelona, Rashford using his pace. I am observing, you know, the battles between Molina and Rashford because I am an Argentina fan. He did cause some problems in the La Liga matchup over the weekend. And for those of you who don't know, you know, this will be the second time Atletico Madrid will be playing Atletico Madrid. So they're playing 3 games consecutively. They already played the first one in La Liga, and now it's this one. So I'm thinking Atletico Madrid know they can't win the league now, But, you know, they probably learned a lot from that game over the weekend and could take some heart that it was, you know, if you take away the red card, they were okay. It was a stupid first yellow from Nico Gonzalez, just catching the ball. I wonder about him sometimes for Argentina, his decision making sometimes. But I think playing each other that frequently kind of benefits Atletico. Rashford using his pace to cause some problems. So Barcelona are definitely in the ascendancy right now. And Atletico Madrid having a hard time getting any control in the middle. And this is my other complaint. Outside Lookman, there's no Rodrigo de Paul anymore. They can't really control the middle. That's their problem. They rely heavily on the wings. You know, certain gaps in the games when they have counterattacks. Those sorts of phases of play. You know, it's very limited for Atletico Madrid. You kind of know what you're going to get. So they kind of rely on individual skill and breakaway. So Barcelona now has a corner. We're 35 minutes in. It's 0-0. Like I said, folks, this is a hastily put together stream. So for those of you, when you do joining after the stream, because a lot of people I know in Trinidad and Tobago where I'm from will be working, you know, Barcelona fans. Whipped in by Rashford. Rashford does have a lot of pace. He does know how to whip them in. He does have free kick ability. And this is what I'm saying. Atletico trying to force the counter-attack. And a good job there for Barcelona to break it up, because I think Atletico Madrid were looking for that quick release with Simeone on the right side. But it was stopped. Hansi Flick on the sideline there, taking it all in. Koundé on the ball. Atletico Madrid. Right now, without possession, have 5 in the back. So they have a back line of 5 and a second line of 4. So it's a 5-4-1 right now when not in possession right now. Atletico Madrid pressing when they get into a certain point. So they're going to resort to the counter-attack here. They're having to slow things down, which does not benefit them. Molina making a run with Simeone, the Argentines combining. A lot of the attacks, the majority, not all, have been down the right side. Lookman kind of becomes a makeshift left wide player when required, and then he cuts in. Barcelona forcing them back. So Barcelona allowing Atletico Madrid to come into midfield and then press. So it's not like a relentless press where they're pressing them up front. I guess they know that in the midfield they're not very strong, so they could win the ball there. Ball whipped out wide to Simeone. Not a very good cross. Not a very good cross. Simeone tugging at his hair, looking a little bit frustrated with his son. He's probably saying, "Come on, son." I wonder what that discussion at the dinner table is going to be like. So Simeone has 3 sons. If you all know who the 3 sons are, you can comment in the comment section. Folks, don't forget to hydrate and take care of yourself, especially from the Caribbean. Coconut water, electrolytes are the best. If you can get water, that's even better. So according to SofaScore, with Barcelona a chance, I'll get back to that. Rashford now starting to take his Yamal with a fake cutback, eventually running into a wall of Atletico Madrid players. Barcelona still in possession. Musso eventually, very gratefully, I think, grabbing the ball and could probably dial things back a bit. We're seeing Rashford on the floor. Atletico Madrid trying to launch a counter-attack, but I think this is going to be a problem. Now, I think Simeone getting not a nasty tackle, but, you know, Rashford's pace, he was able to draw that foul. So Rashford seems to be limping. He seems to be all right. I'm pretty sure it was a very hard tackle from Simeone. But, you know, one of the problems I have with this Atletico Madrid team, I mentioned, you know, the centre-back issues. Godin, that's a guy I couldn't remember. You know, guys like Godin and Miranda in their prime are gone. So they don't have that, you know, tight centre-back pair. And Jimenez, I have a love-hate relationship with Jimenez. You know, all these guys, and the guys that are there now, they do make mistakes. But I think when you take Alvarez off, and Lookman as well, it's just Lookman, you do take away a lot. I don't think Solath has that dynamism that you need. You know, I don't know what's in Simeone's head. I don't know why he doesn't play Almada. I would have started Almada, but I don't know. I don't know why he's... Maybe I'm biased towards Argentinian players. Maybe he understands that they can't go toe-to-toe with Atletico Madrid in the middle area. So that's why they bring them on selectively. He did the same thing with Correa. I felt as if, you know, Correa wasn't used as much. He'd usually come on in the second half. Of course, he's now in Mexico now. I can't remember what team in Liga MX. So, that's my thoughts. So Yamal taking on his man. So far, if you're looking at, potential matchups, I was looking at Rashford versus Molina, and he did get the better of him sometimes. But, this is good for Molina heading into the World Cup. If I'm Scaloni and I'm looking at this match, I'll get a good insight into how Molina and Simeone work. And a lot of football at this high level really helps these guys. Nico Gonzalez, who is, used as a left back for Atletico Madrid as well as Argentina, didn't look that well in that role in the last game. But clearly it seems like Scaloni is going to use that, so we'll see about that. So Barcelona with another corner here. A lot of the Spanish team, a lot of the core players in here. Not well cleared by Atletico Madrid. Desperately cleared by Atletico Madrid. And Barcelona once again having Atletico Madrid on the ropes, folks. On the ropes. So Yamal really taking it to players. Cutting in and out. But well dealt with. And I think as the game goes along, the more Atletico Madrid are able to deal with these things, the more comfortable they will get. Once again, Atletico trying to start a counter-attack. And this is the problem. They have to cover a lot of ground in the middle area. A bit of a half chance here. Oh, that should be... Is that a red? It looked like the last guy was fouled. Griezmann is making a case. This could be a red card, but it's a yellow. I feel as if there's a case for a red here. Simeone, I think, thinks the same way I'm thinking. He was the last man. Simeone was free on goal. Simeone is pleading his case. And I feel as if, and I know I have a lot of Barcelona friends. I have a lot of love for Barcelona as well. So I'm looking at the replay here. Simeone is clear on goal. Yet that is a dodgy call. That is a dodgy call. Simeone got past the back four of Barcelona. If he was not fouled there, he was free on goal. So, my interpretation is that should be a red card. And I wonder if VAR is going to look at it. Simeone is, Juliano is talking about it as well. Both Simeones. The ref is going to have a look. He's going to have a look, folks. So we're going to have our first potential VAR decision here. I think it's a red card. Based on the rules. Based on my base knowledge and talking to refs. Just by looking at it. He was clear on goal. And he was fouled. No ball contact. No possible ulterior motive saying, hey, he got the foot to the ball. It looks like a red card. So I'm looking at it here, of course. A lot of people are arguing when you look at things in the replay. But from here, what I'm seeing in the replay, he got in between the player and the ball, which is what he's supposed to do. And, he was taken down. So, of course, I'm seeing the replay that the ref is seeing. It's in real time. If anybody's in the stream right now, let me know what you think about that. Yeah, it looks like a red card to me, folks. Atletico Madrid usually don't get these calls, but let's see. They didn't get one in La Liga, so will they get it now? Let's see. So the ref is having a look. He's having a look. And he's made a decision. What is it? Barcelona players look very nervous, and I think they have a right to be nervous, and I think it's going to be a red, folks. So he's taking back the yellow card. A lot of suspense. This ref. So, all right. So he's taken away their... Yeah, okay. It's definitely a red. I was right, folks. I was right. Red card given. And rightfully so, I think. Barcelona cannot be angry about this. They cannot be angry about this. I think that was a fair call. I think they got away with one over the weekend. I think Simeone deserves a lot of credit. So, Kubriarsi is getting that. And I think it's the right call. Can Atletico Madrid take advantage of this? I think he can't be angry. I mean, of course he's going to be disappointed. But, he's looking at the screen. I don't know why. As if that's going to do anything now. So, I mean, this is a very interesting spot. Julian Alvarez is more than capable of scoring from here. As well as Antoine Griezmann. So, Barcelona now with one man down. With Simeone drawing the foul. A free kick from a dangerous spot. So, Can now with the numerical superiority, Atletico take advantage. Alvarez with the shot. And it's a goal, folks. Julian Alvarez scoring for Atletico Madrid. What a goal. What a goal. I usually say that, Messi's going to score. And but Julian Alvarez, man. What a player. What a player. So Simeone gesturing to his players to calm down. But what a perfect free kick from Julian Alvarez. And, as an Argentina fan, I'm happy. He's doing a Spider-Man gesture. Spider-Man. Griezmann and those guys. So I'm taking a look. Using his spidey senses. Spidey senses are tingling. Let's take a look. So it was perfectly placed into the corner. Wow. There was nothing that keeper could have done about that. What a goal by the Spider-Man. I am the Spider-Man. Very... I am enjoying this game, folks, because you're getting to see a lot of drama. I'm getting to see some action. And Julian Alvarez. So, very good. Juliano doing well to draw that foul. So, there's 4 minutes of extra time. Before. Maybe a bit longer, I think. Barcelona were in control. And like I said before, I was discussing the tactical aspects where Simeone and Atletico Madrid, they don't have that superiority in midfield. And they were resorting to counterattacks. Now, the ref, Atletico Madrid giving away a foul. So, Barcelona are going to try to resort to trying to even the playing field. And I don't like this. I hear a lot of commentators saying this. Oh, the ref needs to, the ref is going to have to even up the game. Now, that's a bit of a exaggerated foul by Lewandowski. Obviously, he's trying to get people sent off. They want to equalize like what they did in the last game. And they got away with one over the weekend in the La Liga. So I'm seeing a row on those guys warming up. Atletico Madrid and Simeone was saying this. You guys need to be calm. You now have numerical superiority. This is where the leadership of Atletico comes in. And of course, Atletico Madrid are the kind of team that can concede. This is not the watertight Atletico Madrid of the past. So I'm thinking, is that Yamal on the ball? They're going to bring in Arau. Can Atletico hold off? They have the tendency to concede. And they're doing... I think I did get disconnected from the internet for a second there. So I'm going to try to reconnect my chat. I don't know why that's happening. But... anyway, back to the game. I did have a little glitch there. So... Atletico now with the numerical superiority. My chat disconnected and reconnected. There was a sneaking suspicion. A lot of people were saying that I was hacked for the under 20 finals, and I hope that's not the case with my stream. But if you're just joining us, what a game, folks. And anybody's in the live stream right now, drop some comments. At halftime, I'm going to see if I could... a lot of people have been asking me to share the links. But I like I said, before the goal, I was talking about Atletico Madrid cannot compete with Barcelona in the middle. And they were resorting to counterattacks and running from deep. And there was a lot of burden on Lookman and Julian Alvarez and Griezmann. But they made it work. Simeone did well enough to get between the ball and the last player for Barcelona getting that red card, which now changes the game. Now, are Barcelona... how are they going to react? And are Atletico capable enough to benefit from this? Because I've seen situations like this where they've had numerical superiority and, it hasn't worked for them. I'm seeing an offside call here. Oh, they're still looking at the original red card incident. So Atletico are going to see out the half here. So the first half has ended, folks. Let me just stop my clock here. Atletico Madrid won. Let me fix that really quickly. Atletico Madrid 1. Barcelona 0. So, folks, if you're just joining us, what a match so far. What a match. I'm just going to turn off my other screen behind. So, give me 1 second. Also, folks, let me know what you think about my studio. I'm going to turn on the blue lights. Let me know what you think about that. So, folks, I'm back. I was just turning my screen off. So it's halftime. Barcelona 0, Atleti 1. And folks, if you're just joining us, this is a very interesting match because everybody was favoring Barcelona. Myself, I was talking about the pros and cons, and I was thankfully proved correct because I was saying before I stepped away that Barcelona has the advantage in the middle area of the pitch. And let me see if I can pull out some stats from SofaScore really quickly. So ball possession 54%, 46 for Atletico. Attempts on target 5, Atletico 2. I felt as if they were more. Or on target. Okay, so 12 for Barcelona, 4 for Atletico. Saves 1, Atletico 5. And it was pretty even somewhat, I think. I think Atletico started off, and then, as I said before, Barcelona was starting to take control of that middle area of the pitch because I think they're aware that man-to-man, based on the technique and just how Barcelona plays, Atletico Madrid can't handle them. So they resort to sitting back and try to, run from deep and create counterattacks. And I was complaining before that's going to be very difficult. I think it's a lot of pressure on Alvarez, Lookman, and Griezmann. But, Juliano Simeone, son of Cholo, did an excellent job of getting between his man and the ball and forcing that foul and getting a free kick to rub salt in the wounds of Barcelona and score that amazing free kick. Folks, if you're looking at the stream now, you're looking at the stream afterwards, that was vintage, as best as you can get a free kick. Out of 10, let me know what you think about that Julian Alvarez free kick when you watch this game. I know a lot of people are not in the live chat right now, but eventually you all will join in. So, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts about that particular one. So, what a game, folks. I don't know what's going on in the other game. I'm just going to update a couple things while we're talking here. So, of course, in using my ticker tape, I'm going to update it while we're speaking. So, let's see. Let me fix that while we're talking, if I can find it. But, folks, like I said, I know a lot of people are not aware of this this particular stream right now. And that's okay. That's okay. So, I have to update my scores. So like I said, folks, it's halftime. I usually take a break, but what a goal. If you're an Argentina fan, you'd be very happy with Julian Alvarez. This is a guy, I think Simeone makes him do too much work. I think it's a lot of work for him to do. But I think in terms of his ability to do so, I think he can do it. And I really genuinely believe that we need an informed Julian Alvarez and Enzo Fernandez for the World Cup for the Argentina fans out there. So I'm just updating my my news here below the screen. So, I always try to make these screens as nice as possible for everybody. So as you can see, lower down there's little updates as well. You can take a look at that. I literally was speechless when I saw that free kick. And I kind of knew, and it's a highlight reel. So I'm looking at the highlights here. At the beginning, Alvarez getting a chance. And he's capable of that. He's physical, he's fast, he's highly technical. He got past his man early in the first half. And he did a classic EAFC move where he cut in. He was looking for the pass, but I guess he decided to take a quick shot. But unfortunately, it was straight at the keeper. So, Julian Alvarez has been a problem. I'm seeing the replay again here. They're showing it from different angles. So, it is an interesting match. Barcelona fans out there, let me know what you think. I'm trying to set up the TikTok live stream because a lot of people have been asking me to do that. So Atletico Madrid versus Barcelona Champions League. First leg. People, let me know who you think is who are going to win the Champions League. A lot of people are saying Bayern Munich are going to win the Champions League. A lot of people are saying it could be. Some people are saying Barcelona. Nobody's giving Atletico Madrid much of a chance. PSG. PSG look like they are carrying on that form from last season. Arsenal. What did you think about Arsenal's performance against Sporting? I think it was an okay performance. I hope, for Arsenal fans' sake that, they don't bottle it because they already, they lost those 2 finals. And, a lot of people were saying that they were going to win, the treble and, 4 trophies. And it's not like because I'm poking fun at Barcelona fans, but as an Inter Milan fan, I know this. You have to really, until you get your hands on a trophy, really be quiet. But I don't know if it's an EPL culture thing where you have to kind of talk a lot about your team. So like I said, people, if you're just joining the live stream, let me know. I didn't plan this live stream. I did not advertise it anywhere. So for those of you wondering, how the stream came out of anywhere, I usually do Trinidad and Tobago live streams. I usually don't do much international football in terms of clubs, but it's a Champions League, and I decided to do my first one. It was a little bit of a last-minute thing. You can't really see my Julian Alvarez behind. You see the Julian Alvarez Argentina. It's not because of the Atletico Madrid. I actually love Argentina. That just happens to be there. I'm an Inter Milan fan. I didn't put the Julian Alvarez in frame. You could probably see it there. It's over there. And folks, when you like, subscribe, and scan, you can't get some of these jerseys if you want one. When you like and subscribe, you automatically qualify for a chance to get those things. Feel free to support. And I'm seeing somebody subscribing here. Who is that? DNA Football. Wow. Thanks for subscribing. And I'm seeing a couple of people as well popping in. Who is that? Sleep Well TT. Maybe I should make those notifications a little bit bigger so we can see them. Let me try to do that. Let's see how we can do that. Let's see how we can do that, folks. Like I said, I'm trying things out, trying to make the stream better as well. Let's see. How do we do that? How do we do that? How do we do that? I'm trying to find it, folks. I'm trying to find it. Oh, there's that's not it. I can't find it. Well, I'll always fix that another time. That's not very important right now. I'm still trying to find it so it will look really good. So I want people to see their names on there. Oh, there we go. I think... No, that's... I can't seem to find it. I can't seem to find it. Oh, there we go. There we go. So let me make that a little bit bigger. And let's see. Who else is in here? There is Joshua Phillips. Cool. I want people to see it when people subscribe. So I'm taking a look at the highlights here, and let's take a little stats from SofaScore, folks. I'm going to see if I could probably pull it up on the screen for you guys. Let's see if I can do that. So let's see now. Let's see if I can do that for you guys. So according to SofaScore, oops, I'm on the wrong link. SofaScore provides us with a lot of information, folks, if you're joining us. So like I said, I'm not heavily stressed out by this game at all. Absolutely not stressed out at all. So I'm going to try to pull this up for you guys. So in terms of the attack moment, I want you all to see these charts. So let me get it for you guys. So let's do that really quickly. Doing this live, folks. I could just, chicken out and do this differently, but I'm going to fix this for you all. So I'm going to try to pull this up. Let's see how we're going to do this. I want you all to see everything. So SofaScore gives us a lot of data. So let's see if I can pull this out. There we go. I have it here on my screen. You'll see it in a couple seconds, folks. So I'm going to pull it up really quickly so you guys can see what I'm seeing, and then I'll take it down when it's time. So let me make sure I get everything for you guys. So there we go. So I got it. So it's going to pop up on the screen any second now. I just want to make it really nice looking for you guys. So everybody who's joining in the stream, you can take a look. Like I said, anybody who's out there who's taking a look at the live stream, let me know. So this is from SofaScore. SofaScore provides us with a lot of very interesting data. So, let me pull that up really quickly. All right, let's do that. So, folks, it's coming up. There we go. So you're not going to see me for a couple seconds. So as you can see, 4-2-3-1. So for score, giving them a Barcelona rating of 6.64. Atletico Madrid 6.75. And I think that's fair. As you can see, Kubarsi sent off, rightfully so. I think they were warming up Arau. I know a lot of people are not the hugest fans. As you can see here, so for score has given Yamal a 7.3 rating so far. Julian Alvarez 8.1, obviously for that goal. I think Simeone should have gotten a higher rating. Joan Garcia, Dani Olmo, Lenormand, Molina. Those are the highly rated players brought to you by SofaScore. And, you know, formations-wise, to be expected. 4-4-2 for Atletico Madrid and 4-2-3-1. But now with some changes, and I don't know if Barcelona will be able to... I mean, Atletico Madrid will be able to capitalize on that. So I want to show you all, if I can find the attack momentum, which is this one over here, as you can see. The green is Barcelona, and it's basically who has, you know, the dominance in the game. And you can see the little spikes here. Barcelona have dominated. And there's a couple little spikes here. And, of course, that little spike there is Julian Alvarez's goal. You know, that's says a lot about this game and who is controlling the game. And, of course, you know, this is the match over. So you can see the shots here, folks, for Barcelona. You know, all the big chances here as well. And I love that they can show you the different shots. The ones with the dots here, as you can see, are on target. And you can do that in the different places where they got it, the different areas. A couple of these shots were wide, as you can see. And, you know, let's take a look for Atletico. I mean, one could argue Barcelona has more shots, but then Atletico, because this was the one over here that I'm clicking on when Julian Alvarez got. And it's telling you in the 5th minute, which is crazy, Julian Alvarez got that. His XG, expected goals, 0.16. That was in the 5th minute. Then there was another one from Simeone, which went wide. And Lookman, which was blocked. So in terms of, I mean, 1 out of the 4 shots, with 2 being on target, resulting in a goal. And the XG, which is expected goals, you know, for Atletico Madrid was 0.35 versus 0.60. I think in terms of efficiency, Atletico Madrid have done well, with all things considered. So, of course, if you want a definition, expected goals calculate how many goals a team should have scored on average based on the number and quality of shots taken. So, like I said, I'll read that again, because I want to help you all explain. I just don't want to read numbers. Expected goals calculate how many goals a team should have scored on average based on the number and quality of shots taken. 4 shots taken for Atletico Madrid, 2 on target, 1 goal. So, I mean, that shows some serious efficiency. Barcelona getting a whole bunch of chances, total shots 10, but 0 goals. And now, with the game as it is now, I'm going to take this thing off now because I don't want to bombard you guys with stats too much. So it's off now. I'm going to keep an eye on the game to see if it starts back. So the players are still, you know, warming up in the sidelines to come on. I think Arau is going to come on. I'm seeing, no, it's not Arau. Who is that? Who's that warming up on the sideline there? So Barcelona having their team discussion now. Atletico Madrid, in the past, I've seen them in situations where they had numerical superiority. And, you know, kind of like my team that I support, which is Inter Milan, they don't take advantage. Mostly because I think they're comfortable being on the back foot. It's something in their DNA. So, you know, the ability to control the play. I would think. So, Barcelona making some substitutes here. So, let's see that. SofaScore will help us out here. So, Lopez is coming on for Lewandowski. And let's see who else is coming on. Well, I'll talk about that in a little while. But if I were Cholo, if things, provided nothing dramatic happens, because whenever these two teams play, you know, you never know what happens. And usually, like I said, I'm an Inter Milan fan, but, you know, as a neutral in this somewhat, I'll be lying if I'm not saying, you know, I want to see the Argentinian players not do well. But Atletico usually doesn't get the better end of some important decisions. Today, I think it was so clear-cut, it wasn't funny. We all remember last year where his both feet Alvarez touched the penalty and it went over. I mean, that's kind of ridiculous. So we're resuming here now, second half. I'm going to have to fix my clock really quickly. So second half resumed. So we have restarted, folks. It's a second half. Barcelona making their substitutions. Barcelona going to want to try to apply pressure and, even the odds. There's no longer the away goal rule, which I kind of miss sometimes. But I understand why people are trying the new things. Barcelona are going to try to tune things up. They're definitely going to apply some pressure on Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid are going to have to be very smart, not concede a goal. This is not a watertight Atletico Madrid like in the past. So they're going to have to be very smart. And I would say if they can hold off the inevitable Barcelona onslaught, take control of the game, and maybe around the 60th minute, bring on some ball-playing players in the middle like Almada to kind of take advantage of the numerical superiority. Because we all know Barcelona are capable of passing the ball around. Even though they have numerical inferiority right now, they can pass the ball around. They can keep the ball as they're doing right now, slow the game down to their liking, which doesn't really benefit them right now, but they will definitely create chances because they have players that can keep the ball but also take on players. And, I'm sure Simeone probably had that discussion. Be intelligent, be smart, keep the ball. But this is where the game management comes in, where in the last couple of years when I looked at this Atletico Madrid, and Barcelona as well, but we're talking about Atletico Madrid right now, Atletico, because of their style of play, sometimes are uncomfortable in these sort of positions. They look like they're mentally prepped to play with their back against the wall, and they've not been able to capitalize in these situations. And, teams can equalize. All it takes is one dodgy ref call. We all saw what happened over the weekend. I think if Barcelona can, keep possession and be constructive and positive with their possession, not reckless, they can easily at least try to get a second goal going into the second leg at home. And try not to concede anything. Barcelona, I'm sure, will create one or two chances. They have the players that can take on 2 or 3 players. Olmo, Yamal, of course. The midfield players, they have that ability. I don't think they have that aerial threat. So if Atletico could kind of resort to them going out wide and resorting to crosses, crowding them out, that could work for them. So, this is another example. Atletico Madrid has more players, yet they resort to passing the ball out wide and giving away possession. And I've seen them do this before. To me, if you have more players, that's just unacceptable. I don't know if that's just something in their DNA and it's hard for them to break out of it. But, giving away the ball like that. So Barcelona, of course, trying to press up front, forcing a turnover. Good job by Yamal forcing a turnover, who wants to win. But, Barcelona are trying to press up front to force an error from Atletico, who are capable of errors. And, forcing Atletico Madrid into errors, which is not what you want if you have an extra player. And, this is where I think the problem people have with Atletico Madrid, the ability to not just, defend and get a counter-attacking goal, but in a situation like this where you should be in control of the game, you're not. So, for example, it's almost like Atletico Madrid want to be in that position where their back is against the wall. So, Barcelona, of course, keeping possession. And then when Atletico gets the ball, they press high up the pitch. Intelligently, of course. Atletico Madrid can't seem to hold on to the ball. So, it'll be interesting to see. This is all about game management at this level. And like I said, Barcelona do have the players to, get past 1 or 2 players. Like now, for example, getting past Musso with an open net. Barcelona could have equalized. And this is what I'm talking about. Barcelona do have the players to cause that problem. Rashford with pace. Yamal with pace. And the thing is, when you play like that, it gives the team encouragement. So it's almost an identical play to Atletico Madrid. They got the ball behind the back 4. And Musso doing enough to kind of at least narrow the angles. But if you're Simeone, you're not going to be happy with this. You're not going to be happy. Of course, at this level of the game, you're going to expect an onslaught. But I think with all things considered, it's not it's not pleasing to see if you're winning. So I don't know if Atletico's game plan is with the extra, when Barcelona pushes up and their high line is high up, they counter attack, which is no different than it was before. And maybe they could take a chance with an extra player. So, this is a bit of a dodgy lead. But Atletico needs to take advantage of this, especially heading into the second leg. You don't attack recklessly, but take some more control over the game. So Yamal, Molina doing well to retrieve the ball. Sorry, it wasn't Yamal. But Molina doing well to retrieve that attempted through ball. Down the right side, Atletico trying to hold on to the ball, but Barcelona pressing, forcing another error. And, this is where they're dangerous. Is that a free kick on Yamal? Of course, Barcelona are going to do everything in their power to get a free kick. A free kick in a dangerous spot. Pretty dangerous spot, folks. So, like I said, if you're an Atletico Madrid fan, I don't think you would be happy, even though you're in the lead. You would not be happy. And I've seen Atletico Madrid do this time and time again. They get in positions that should be favorable for them. And because of their style of play, they allow teams back in. I mean, I've seen this with my team, which is Inter Milan. So, Yamal. And the thing is, this gives teams hope. The worst thing for Atletico right now is to concede a goal. But it's almost like they want to. It's like they're uncomfortable being in the lead. They need to kind of have their backs against the wall. And, if you're an Atletico Madrid fan, this is probably annoying. Now, Rashford, it's in a pretty dangerous position. Rashford has a pretty good record with free kicks. I don't know what the exact record is, but I know he is capable. So, Atletico Madrid would not want to concede a goal right now. If they manage to kind of, deal with this situation right now, they need to reset and play and find a way to control and not give away the ball so much. Just settle things down. And then eventually get players like maybe Almada and some players that could kind of play the ball in midfield a little bit and keep that balance. So Rashford is over the ball. Can Barcelona take advantage of this? Let's see. And they almost did, forcing a save from Musso. Very good free kick. Let's take a look at the replay, folks. So let's see. Good technique. In all fairness, it was straight at the keeper, but I think the pace beat Musso. Yes, it did beat Musso. So I think if it was any lower, Musso would have gotten a hand to it, but pretty dangerous. Now Barcelona with a corner. Now, this is annoying because you would think that Atletico Madrid are the team with one man less. If you just join the game right now, that's what you would think. But Barcelona, the ones applying all the pressure, causing problems in the box. Atletico Madrid frantically clearing, possibly trying to launch another counter-attack. And once again, Barcelona in possession. So if you're just joining us, it's 1-0 to Atletico Madrid. Julian Alvarez scoring a beautiful free kick in the first half. Barcelona with a man down. But Barcelona are the ones causing a lot of the problems. Like I said, I'm a neutral. I am a neutral. I think Atletico Madrid, one can argue is that they don't want to attack too much and concede another goal. So they're just sticking to their game plan. But, this, to me, this just kind of works more in Barcelona's favor because now they're getting possession. They could take a bit more hard going up the pitch. They have the players that can create some chances, as we've seen in the first couple minutes in the second half here. So, I don't know why my clock... I just realized my clock is saying 98 minutes. I don't know why it's doing that. So, okay, it's fixed now. Yeah, so 53rd minute. I just had to fix that. So, I would not be happy. So, I'm seeing Nelson Vivas and Simeone making some changes. I hope Alvarez is not coming off. I'm seeing Soloth coming on. I said in the first half, while I have no issue with Soloth, I think Soloth lacks that dynamism that Julian Alvarez has. And he comes on and he's that tall player in the box. And I think Simeone is going to resort to that kind of, let's sit back and counter-attack. And, he's going to kind of be big and burly and get that goal. And I actually think I'm not very happy with that. Maybe it's a lack of choices, but I just don't think Soloth, based on the dynamics of how this game is going, is the right guy. And usually he comes on for Alvarez. But I hope that's not the case. Let's see what's going on. I would have tried to kind of control the middle a little bit more. Maybe bring on Soloth later on in the game. So Julian Alvarez pressing, because that's what he does. And like I said, Barcelona is very good in possession. That's no secret. Highly technical players that are comfortable in possession. They practice playing that sort of thing. Julian Alvarez applying some pressure. And, Atletico Madrid looking like the team with one man down. It doesn't look like they are the team in front. And, like I said, if you're an Atletico Madrid fan or neutral, this is quite annoying. So I'm seeing a replay here. There was a bit of a contentious issue before. I'm not sure what I'm looking at here. Oh, the Barcelona players, which is a bit of a desperate attempt to try to call handball in the box there. So you could see Barcelona are trying to, they're passing the ball around, trying to keep possession. Because through the middle, I think they don't have that confidence that they could take on Barcelona. I think they generally go out wide and try to release the attacking players. Now, this is where you need a player that could kind of drop in the center circle, create some passes, keep possession, slow things down, speed it up. But I don't think Atletico have that player. That's I think this is where a player like Rodrigo de Paul would have come in handy with those characteristics, or a player like that. So, the transfer market, Simeone is going to have to take a look at that. Musso, taking his time with the ball. A bit of a stupid pass, I think, causing unnecessary pressure for Atletico Madrid. You could see, it's almost like Atletico Madrid are not comfortable. Like, it's almost like they're shocked to be in the lead. And, that was a dumb mistake. Like, they were trying to slow things down. And you could see Atletico Madrid, Yamal, trying to take on, 3 guys. Barcelona, as expected, holding on to the ball. But I'm generally very annoyed by Atletico's style of play right now, considering the situation. I get there seems to be a fear, and I mentioned this before in the live stream. There's a bit of an identity crisis with this team. Where in the past, they would lock things down, park the bus. But now they're not as watertight as they used to be. Now they Simeone is trying to get them to be more attacking. He brought in players like Alvarez, Lookman and so on. And yet, like in this game is a perfect example of kind of caught in two identities. Do we sit back and defend? Do we attack? And this is kind of what you have. You have a team that's sort of trying to figure out, what do we do? So I'm seeing Soloth on the sideline. I wonder what's going on in the other game. According to my information. Oh, my screen came on behind. Let me fix that really quickly. I'll try to fix that. That's me behind, folks. I don't know why this is happening. But once again, Barcelona forcing a corner. There we go. Oops. And, listen, if you're an Atletico Madrid fan, I don't think you would be happy with this. I think with the kind of players Simeone has, they should be causing a lot more problems. Barcelona, I would love to look at the momentum maps right now from SofaScore. And I'm going to pull it up in a little while. But Barcelona now at a corner in the 58th minute. Whipping it in. Whipped right across the goal. And folks, once again seeing that this Atletico Madrid team is not the fortress they used to be at the back. And if they were to concede a goal now, Koundé not getting the connection he needed, but he was completely free in the box. With the right connection, that could have been a goal. Now, can you explain to me why Atletico Madrid, with one extra man and very technical players, are suffering? So I'm seeing Lookman and Koke coming out. So, okay, at least Julian Alvarez. I would have kept on Lookman. So Lookman and Koke are coming off. And Soloth and Baena are coming on. So interesting. So I'm guessing Atletico Madrid are going to try to kind of reinforce the middle. Maybe Alvarez is going to drop a little bit deeper to release Soloth on the counter-attack. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of Soloth. He has different characteristics from Alvarez. In a lot of ways, he has the characteristics of a traditional number 9. And sometimes I feel there are pros and cons to that. So you could see this is one of the situations, if you're looking at the game right now, where Atletico Madrid you could see they are caught in two minds. Do we attack and try to go for that second goal? But then you could see the fear, they don't want to lose possession. But then that fear causes them to lose possession. So Barcelona doing a decent job, closing down the passing lanes, and allowing Atletico Madrid every single time to give away the ball. Rashford with a half chance here. Well stopped. And this is where Atletico Madrid could possibly hurt Barcelona. But Barcelona, all they have to do is sit at the half line. Atletico Madrid passes the ball around a couple times, then passes the ball out wide, loses the ball, attack. Now Atletico Madrid are trying to do a counter-attack right now. Molina on the ball here. And nothing comes of it. So, I am curious as to why Simeone does not use Almada more. I'm very curious about that. So once again, Barcelona under no kind of real pressure. So like Julian Alvarez, as expected, he does press. You know, he does that with Argentina. And, you know, with Man City and Pep. So Barcelona now resorting to some long balls. So this is where Atletico Madrid could kind of, this works in Atletico Madrid's favor. Because the long balls are not really going to benefit this Barcelona team. That's more a Real Madrid thing. You get the ball to Vinicius or Mbappe. Nice ball by Julian. Soloth once again. And this is my issue with Soloth. He's not a very mobile striker. He's not. Yeah, so for example, he got a chance, but you know, there was enough time. I couldn't see who got the tackle in there. But you know, a more dynamic player will of course some problems. I'm not wearing my glasses today, so I'm surprised I'm seeing a lot of things. Molina. Did Molina draw a foul? Molina trying to maraud into the deep into the Barcelona half, but he's complaining he was fouled, but nothing from the ref. Now, this is what Atletico needs to do. They need to be careful they don't get a red card. I think, who was that? He was dancing with a yellow card. And to me, this is really stupid. He got a yellow card, and now he's quarreling with the ref. Is he going to talk himself into a red card? Because that would be very stupid. And this is Atletico's fault. You know, Alex is... This is incredibly stupid because it was an unnecessary foul. You have numerical superiority. He didn't need to kind of tug on Olmo like that. You just came on. You know, Barcelona are capable of playing out the press. But, you know, Barcelona are doing a better job right now in managing this game. They are doing a better job than managing this game. As it stands, if you're just joining him, Yamal and Alvarez having a little conversation. They're two little kids because they're both very young. Of course, Alvarez is a little bit older. So Barcelona, once again, complete possession. I think I'm going to have to bring back up the stats from SofaScore. But I don't want to block the game out. So let me pull that up really quickly. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Whatever. I'll pull that up in a little while. So, Barcelona on the attack. And, you know, this is not what you want now. If I was Simeone, Barcelona, clearly instructed by Flick, pressing Atletico Madrid because clearly they know that Atletico Madrid are not confident enough to pass the ball around, especially through the middle. So, they're actually allowing Barcelona up to a point and then pressing them ferociously. And, you know, if you didn't know this, you would think that Atletico Madrid is a team with one player down. So Molina doing well to disrupt that attack down the left side for Barcelona. Not a good clearance. Atletico were fortunate to recover that ball. And once again, Barcelona in possession. You would swear that Atletico Madrid was with one man down. That should definitely be a yellow. I think Barcelona. Yeah, it's a yellow card for Gavi. A little bit of a frustration there. That's where the youthful frustration comes in. A calmer player would have just stayed quiet. Griezmann doing enough knowing he was there. getting his body between the player and the ball, forcing a foul, and taking some pressure off Atletico Madrid. And Griezmann is going to have to use his experience here, possibly drop a little bit deeper, which he has. You know, using all his experience, tying his shoelaces and all that, as expected. So, Alex Baena getting the number 10 for Atletico Madrid getting a yellow card. Gavi getting a yellow card. And, you know, I think Griezmann is using his experience here, much to the frustration of the Atletico Madrid Barcelona players. He's gesturing for Griezmann. I don't know if he wants him to come off, or at least go about his business. I don't really understand what he's doing. And Griezmann looks confused as well. I'm not sure what's happening here. And folks, let's be real here. Atletico Madrid do get some bizarre calls against them. So once again, a long ball. And the thing is, why are they doing this? They have numerical superiority, and all they're doing is allowing themselves to just give away the ball. Unforced errors. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So once again, Barcelona, you know, all it takes is, you know, Yamal and they are going to keep attacking down that right side. And, you know, Rashford on the left side. And they can't take on their players. And eventually they're going to get a chance. So Alvarez having to be the one to step in the midfield and slow things down. Distributing the ball out to Molina. Molina and Simeone on the wings here. Getting the ball out wide to Simeone. Both of them, you know, both Argentines combining really well. Back to the centre-backs of Atletico Madrid. You know, we're approaching the 67th minute. It's still 1-0. And this is where Atletico Madrid mess up. It's back at the centre-backs. They pass the ball around, and then they try to go wide where Barcelona press, squeeze them, and take the ball back. And they're clearly not confident to try to go through the middle. So I don't know if it's an attempt to try to pull Barcelona out, but the Barcelona players are highly alert and lots of athleticism. And they're able to cover a bit extra ground as required in a game like this. So Atletico trying to go through the middle now, which is expected. Which is what you should do. And once again, a long ball, cross field. Griezmann using his tactical intelligence a little bit. I felt as if that cross, they should have waited a little bit. And you see, that's the thing. There was no need for that cross to go in that early. And Barcelona crosses in the ball. And Barcelona is now going to attack Yamal, taking on his man. And did he draw a foul? No. Still in possession, taking on his man. Atletico Madrid forcing a foul. So this is where, you know, I have a huge problem. I've said this multiple times. I don't like how this Atletico Madrid team plays football. I don't know if they're just not technical enough in the midfield area. I mean, to be fair, any team against Barcelona would have problems. Any team against Barcelona would have problems, but once again, Barcelona forcing a free kick. And you could see Barcelona are devoid of ideas or just simply afraid to overly commit. It's almost like they're content with this 1-0 result. And honestly, I understand if you don't want to attack too much because Barcelona has the players to hurt you. This is a free kick from deep. Rashford over the ball. He's going to whip it in. Like I said, the Atletico centre-backs are not the strongest we've ever seen in a while. Well cleared by Atletico. Barcelona probing. Another long ball in. And, you know, if you're an Atletico Madrid fan, this is what you want. They're not the strongest area. With Lewandowski off. You know, heading is not Barcelona's strongest point. An attempt to draw a penalty from Olmo, I believe. Is that Olmo? Atletico, Griezmann trying to use all his experience. Doing well to release the ball. And the thing is, Griezmann is trying his best to try to hold the ball up. I think it's Alvarez on the ball here. Doing well to release Simeone. And no, it's not Simeone. But slowing things down. And this is where Atletico usually messes up. Because they do have the ball in the middle now. And Rashford and Yamal do have the energy to press you. And they're passing the ball around. And they go in and around. They very rarely go through the middle. Unless it's a counter-attack. So, Griezmann. Nice ball out wide. And this is the thing. Could this be number 2 for Atletico Madrid? And it is. Soloth. 2-0. And I was criticizing crossing too early. But a very lethal cross. in the end. So it's now 2-0. Soloth getting that second goal. Barcelona, I would say, playing the better football, but Atletico Madrid getting the more effective football. And like I said, it almost seems as if Atletico Madrid are very okay with this. If you follow them, you would not be surprised. So, Griezmann with a very intelligent ball. One of the few times they kept the ball outside. And Soloth getting in there. And I'll be honest, Barcelona are playing the more proactive football. And this was the first time Atletico Madrid kind of held on to the ball for a little while. And, took advantage of that. And, kudos to Soloth. I was criticizing him a while ago. But he got that one chance and he took it. So, Simeone, this is where Simeone has to be really smart. I'm seeing Nelson Vivas, former Argentine international, and him on the sideline. He used to have Burgos, another Argentine international, but, they had some sort of mysterious falling out. I actually don't know what happened. I think, and I think there's an Amazon Prime special on that. So now the game is heavily in Atletico's favor. And this is where Atletico Madrid have to be smart, because Barcelona are capable of getting a second goal. They are capable of getting, a first goal in this. And this is not what you want. If you want to go back home with a clean sheet, because Barcelona, as we've seen in the Copa del Rey earlier this season, are capable of causing problems. And if they really turn it on the day 11 versus 11, they can cause problems. This Atletico Madrid team need to be smarter on the ball and take advantage of the gaps, because Barcelona now will be trying to attack more and more, which plays into what clearly Atletico Madrid wants, that sort of attacking style of play. I would maybe around the 75th minute, barring any freak occurrences like if Atletico concedes a goal, I would then bring on a player like Almada. And I know, folks, it's not because I like Argentinian football. They kind of just control the play, create that a second attacking outlet, and, be there for when they do launch the counter-attack. Julian Alvarez is going to play that can run for the entire game. Arau is, and Ferran gesturing ferociously to the ref, they're going to come on. So Arau is going to try to tighten things up. I spoke to a lot of my Barcelona fans. They're not huge fans of the Uruguayan. And Ferran is coming on. So Koundé is off, Rashford is off. So Ferran is going to, take the spot of Rashford. I felt as if Rashford could have probably stayed a little bit longer if you're a Barcelona fan. But that's not the case. So, Yamal with a corner. And the thing is, this is not what you want, because I said Atletico Madrid are not the watertight defense. They're probably bringing on Arau to try to force some corners. He's now wearing the captain's armband. Atletico Madrid are not the shutout kings that they used to be a long time ago. So whipped in by Yamal. Free header by Arau. Is it Arau? Yes, as soon as he comes on, he gets a free header. Nobody was on him. Look at that. Look at that. That's terrible. Actually, no, that's not true. But, he has that towering presence. He has that height. So clearly Flick brought him on to kind of give you that threat, because Barcelona are going to try to get that goal. And Atletico are going to have to try to counter-attack. Not by just counter-attacking, but with tactics. Once again, Musso with an uncomfortable clearance, because Barcelona are trying to force an error. And this is where Griezmann has to show his intelligence. And he did, to be fair. So Barcelona now in their own half. Like I said, they do have the players to take on 2 or 3 players to create chances out of nothing. Atletico Madrid have those players as well, but, it just shows you a clash of approach. That dynamism, the triangular passes and player movement versus, the 4-4-2 rigidity of Simeone's style. Now, there's other teams that play 4-4-2, but it's all down to, how the coach instructs the players to operate. So, Atletico trying to isolate the Barcelona players on the wing. And Barcelona now allowing Barcelona to come into their half. So I don't know if their plan is to quickly release. And you could see Barcelona trying to quickly press, because they're very much aware of what Simeone's plan is. But Atletico certainly don't look comfortable in possession. Musso is a guy who I really like at Udinese, but he doesn't seem fully comfortable at Atletico yet. Maybe just because of playing time. So once again, Atletico in possession. players running into each other, which is a bit ridiculous. And Griezmann trying to play in that role. He does it for France. So he's trying to kind of settle things down in the middle. Simeone. Back to the centre backs. And this is where I think the problem lays. Barcelona allows them to come into the middle area and then kind of closes off the passing lanes with selective passing. Like I said, folks, this is very dehydrating. And you know, if you're just joining us, I know I didn't advertise this stream. There's probably not going to be a lot of people. A long ball up to Julian. I think it's Simeone. Juliano Simeone. Simeone is taking on his players. Got past 2 players. Cutting inside. You know, a lot of people talk about Yamal. While Simeone is a different player, he does have that pace to take on players and that fearlessness. Atletico Madrid finally kind of keeping the ball in the middle. Cross to the far post. Simeone doesn't have that height to really win that header. And Barcelona are going to try to calm things down a bit now. And I think they're confident enough to know that, hey, listen, we can pass the ball along a bit. We can create spaces in the midfield. And they could probably fancy themselves of getting another chance. Once again, I think Atletico are trying now to close things down, giving away the ball once again. Soloth. Yamal trying to take on the game himself. And, you know, Barcelona fans, I'd like to legitimately ask you this. You know, do you all think if you compare Messi to Yamal at this exact age, you know, I hear some people saying that Yamal is better. No, I don't think so. I think he's very good, though. I think he's very good. He's a top player. But I don't think he's as deadly as Messi at that age yet. He's a deadly player. He's one of the world's best, no doubt. And he could probably turn out to be one of the world's best. He could turn on to win the World Cup. But, you know, I feel like he's not there yet. I feel at this age, Messi was way more devastating. Anyway, Barcelona with another free kick. No Rashford this time. Trying to, bit of a quick delivery. I'm seeing Yamal is overrated. Some people seem to think so. So, you know, this game is kind of playing into Atletico Madrid's hands. And if you looked at the game over the weekend, you kind of saw signs of this going on. If Nico Gonzalez, who I'm a fan of, did not get that stupid red card, I think that game could have gone differently. And I think the ref got the decision wrong with the Barcelona red card, which was rescinded. It could have been a very different game if it was, you know, 10 versus 10. Although looking at this game, you see once again, Barcelona forcing an error. And this is the thing. As you're seeing here, Barcelona, Cancelo, seems like he has a lot to prove. You know, going in on Simeone, losing possession. Actually, it was Cancelo got the ball after the tackles. I don't know who did the tackle. Doing well. Once again, Barcelona creating a lot of shots. And folks, like I said, Barcelona are going to create chances. And, you know, this is very annoying. Atletico Madrid are going to have to withstand this pressure and try to dial things down. Yamal going in, asking for a penalty. I don't think it is. I don't think Yamal has the same humility that Messi had as well. Definitely has the skill, but not humility. Nico is coming on Almada, so maybe Simeone listened to me. So clearly Nico is going to reinforce that left side. And Almada is going to come on to add that extra mobility in midfield. So Simeone is coming off, and who else is coming off? And Griezmann. So I'm guessing, you know, Almada is obviously going to go into the middle. He has the ability to take on players and create things. And Nico is obviously going to control that left side and try to neutralize any attack coming from that end. So I do understand the thought process there. Nico Gonzalez has pace. Hopefully he keeps his head on his body and he does not do any stupid red cards. I mean, you know, he does it for the national team as well. That is a concern if you're an Argentina fan. You know, what's going on with Nico Gonzalez. Atletico Madrid, if I were them, you know, I would carefully try to get it 3-0. I wouldn't recklessly go after it because going 3-0 into the second leg is very exciting. And once again, Barcelona getting a lot of space down that left side, but nobody to pass to. And thankfully, numerical superiority. And, you know, Flick is clapping as he should. These guys with one man down are creating chances. And I think Simeone's men are going to have to take a look at that. I think Griezmann was the only guy, well, not that Almada is on, I could really control the middle. I would have kept on Griezmann and Almada. But I'm sensing, you know, he wants Nico Gonzalez to kind of add that combative physicality that on the wings to neutralize Barcelona. And case in point right here, I think Molina is on the ball here. You know, Molina is showing some intelligence to kind of slow things down. You know, instead of just running at the goal and losing the ball, causing a counter-attack. And like I said for the millionth time, Atletico Madrid, this is where you could see where their idea is kind of like, it can go both ways, because you can see they're trying to hold on the ball, calm things down, get Barcelona to chase, but they're also very not comfortable. Once again, my point is proven. They're trying to slow things down and they're not capable of doing that. They lost the ball. Barcelona's athleticism, they're able to get that ball in areas that they shouldn't. So, for example, Barcelona did have the ball. Barcelona claiming for a penalty, but they're never going to get that. But Atletico Madrid had the ball with more technical or confident players. They could have passed the ball out the back, play out the press. But they can't. They simply can't do it. They usually get past the wings, crossing, and as you can see, that's what they resort to. So, you know, once again, Barcelona the ball. And listen, if I'm a Barcelona fan, I am very much confident that they could at least get a couple more shots on goal. And that's not what you want when you have an extra player. You want to really bury your team. You want to send that message that when we have an extra player, that, you know, make the other team suffer a little bit. But that's not how Atletico Madrid plays, unfortunately. Lenormand with a very good tackle. I'm not too sure what Ara was complaining about. There was no contact. Or maybe it's just frustration. I'm not sure what's going on in the other game. So this is it. So Atletico Madrid right now once again have possession. Barcelona are pressing because they know Atletico Madrid are not confident and they will make mistakes. Atletico trying to launch a counter-attack, but once again losing the ball. And this is a perfect example. They have one man less, yet somehow they keep winning the ball in the midfield. If you're Simeone, you're not going to be happy with this. But Barcelona's movement is so dynamic. I think that's Almada or Alvarez on the ball. Nice through ball for Soloth. Soloth doesn't really have that pace, but he's doing well to hold on to the ball and forcing a throw-in, which was what Atletico needed right now. And like I said, if you didn't know, you would think Barcelona had an extra player. And that's a testament to how they play, their style of football and so on. So like I said, folks, you know, if you're watching the stream after it takes place, you know, this is was an unplanned live stream. I will probably do the Champions League final, maybe. I will be doing this for the World Cup as well. And of course the Trinidad and Tobago games. Soloth with the ball here. Trying the EAFC finish. Did he get a corner? He's saying he got a corner. Barcelona are freaking out. Soloth is saying he got the corner. Trying to cut in the box and cut back. The classic cutback move. Let's see who it came off last. I think it came off Soloth in the replay, but I don't know if the ref saw that. So clearly the ref didn't. Okay, the ref did. So Barcelona threw their tantrum and got their way. And it's a goal kick for Barcelona. But I'm not happy with how Atletico Madrid are playing. I understand the reasoning behind it. But I think they have the players where they don't need to play this way. But it also is a testament to how Barcelona play their football. And even with less men, how dynamic and quick their players are. Not just speed for the sake of raw speed, but the ability to control the play, create places, get opportunities even though you're one man down. Like, for example, Barcelona should be overpowering them with numbers, but they can't. Because with the movement and the passing, they are pulling Atletico Madrid out of position. And Atletico Madrid are panicking and going into that safe mode. And Yamal in the box there, running through a couple players. Still has the ball. Showing a little glimpse of Lionel Messi, but the difference is Lionel Messi would have scored that. So he went past one player, Almada. Got in between two players there. And the problem is when you have players that can dribble like that, the temptation to not want to stick out your foot is a problem as a defender because you don't want to be that guy who fouls the player. So when you have attacking players like Yamal who are comfortable with the ball at their feet, like Messi and other players like that, it does cause problems. So Cancelo is coming off and Balde is coming on. I know he was highly rated last year, but a lot of my Barcelona friends don't seem to be too happy with him. So he's coming on clear to give some width. And folks, 85 minutes in, Atletico 2, Barcelona 0. And I personally think if this was approached differently, I think Barcelona could have had more chances. But Barcelona, to their credit, are causing problems. Easily beaten on the wing. I don't know if that was Molina. Well recovered by Atletico Madrid here. Forcing a foul. No, it's not a foul. So Atletico doing well to win the ball back. But now Barcelona, like I said, they're not just passing the ball. You know, a lot of people like to say that, but they're actually winning the ball. They're physically outplaying everybody. Yamal trying his best to get past players. And, you know, Atletico doing well. I thought that was a foul, but it wasn't. And then whipping the ball upfield. And this is the problem. Solot is not the kind of guy who's going to run all over the pitch. He's just standing there. And, you know, that's what I don't like. I think Solot is not a very high energy player. I think he paces himself. He attacks in spurts. And, you know, you can see like in the standing on the pitches, you know, the mannerisms. I'm going to run only when I need to run. And, you know, I can understand, you know, the argument about efficiency and whatever. But sometimes in games like this, you need that little extra run. But everybody has their approach. I don't agree with this one. Once again, Barcelona passing the ball laterally. Trying to find some gaps. And the thing is, as we've seen multiple times, Barcelona has the players to take 1v1. So even though you're one player down, they have the ability to take on players and create chances for themselves. And Atletico apparently has zero ability to hold on to the ball in midfield. None. None whatsoever. And even when they have possession, a lot of people like to talk down to possession. But you can have possession, but if you don't know what to do with it, that's a problem. And I think it's a confidence issue, as I said before, and a tactical issue. I think it's just the way how the team is structured, how they built their mentality. You know, I think they in a lot of ways, there's a lot of teams like Italian teams of the past, not right now, where they had all these great players, the Del Pieros and the Maldinis, and, you know, the Baggios. But the criticism people had of those teams back then is, why do they play so defensive? And it seems like, you know, the Italian way at that point in time was to play that way, even though they had the Tottis and so on. And we're seeing that with Simeone. I mean, he grew up in that. Simeone played in that great era of Serie A, at Inter Milan, at Lazio. You know, the last time, you know, when he won as a player at Atletico Madrid, he was there. And, you know, he's very comfortable with that style of play. Now, Atletico Madrid are supposedly trying to play on the counter-attack, but Barcelona are doing such a good job at closing them down that they can't even do the counter-attack. So, you know, even though they have more players, Atletico Madrid can't seem to launch a counter-attack. They can't. I'm seeing Claudio Ranieri in the VIP box, the dignitaries box with the president, Laporta of Barcelona. So that's interesting. I wonder what he's doing there. I know he's heavily associated with Roma. Maybe there's a transfer going on. Maybe. I'm now seeing some of the comments here about Yamal. So like I said, I know a lot of people are not looking at this game right now. I don't know if anybody decides to watch it as well. Be sure to join in, share, give me your comments afterwards. Once again, Atletico giving away possession. This is crazy. After this game, I'm going to look at the momentum maps, but I'm glued in. Yamal once again causing problems. And this is the thing. They have players that can cause you problems and score a goal. Whipped in. I believe if Barcelona had an extra man, it could have been a goal. Barcelona causing all sorts of problems for Atletico. Atletico scrambling. And like I said, Atletico are trying to play that counter-attacking style of football. And this could be one here, but they're just not dynamic enough to make their numbers count. Now, I'm even going to counter my own point. I think Atletico Madrid simply just don't want to concede a goal. And they're not overly committing to that third goal. So there's 3 minutes of extra time. We're in the 90th minute. Maybe in the last second, Atletico will try to create something. Atletico still having the ball. So maybe going for that third. Is that Julian Alvarez taking on his man? Maybe they could get a third. Alvarez being the striker and the playmaker for the team. Doing a good job. Doing what they should have done before. Slowing the play down. Controlling things. Keeping the ball in the area that's useful for Atletico Madrid. And this is what they should have been doing before, I think. Calling for a handball, but, you know, the ref totally ignoring them. I think Nico Gonzalez. Yamal, listen, this guy is very tough to dispossess. You know, he definitely is talented, folks. I mean, make no mistake. I've seen him, you know, he's running past 2 or 3 players, but the final ball, just not enough. Barcelona fans are probably not happy with this at all. So, once again, Barcelona in possession. Atletico Madrid winning the ball. I think this was a terrible call by the ref. Olmo drawing a foul in a dangerous area. So let's take a look at that replay. Alvarez coming in. Wow. So Olmo swiping at air, falling over on himself, getting a free kick. So once again, you know, let's say Barcelona scores now. They're going to take a look at there was no contact. Olmo basically knocked himself over. And there's a free kick. So let's, you know, can Barcelona take advantage? Yes, they can. They do have the players that can do this. So Olmo got away with one there. I'm seeing in some streams there's already a possible goal in there. But is this a goal for Barcelona? So I'm seeing some people in my comments saying there's a goal already. Is it a goal? Am I missing something? Barcelona fans looking completely dejected. I'm going to pull up my scores. Let me go to SofaScore real quick. Soloth on the ball here. Can he take advantage of this? I think that's Almada on the ball, doing a good job holding on the ball. This is what they should have been doing before. Out wide, crossed in. Not a very good ball. You know, like I said, Barcelona are the kind of team that can cause problems. And once again, another attack down the right side. Barcelona with a chance. Wide. Oh, my phone died, so I can't even check the scores. So let's see here. I mean, a lot of people are trying to fool me in the stream here and make it look like Barcelona scored, making me doubt myself. So yes, it's 2-0. The game is done. My stream was about 60 seconds behind. So it's full time, folks. Wow, what a game. What a game. Barcelona 2. Atletico Madrid 2. Barcelona 0. A goal from Julian Alvarez and Soloth. I personally think that Barcelona could have done... Barcelona did a lot better than I thought. And I think Atletico Madrid could have done a lot better. Barcelona are very angry. I'm seeing a big scrap going on here. Players are arguing. And I think there's nothing to really complain about. I think they're just throwing a tantrum. Like I said, I have no horse in this race. I'm an Inter Milan fan. I think it was a deserved victory. I think Barcelona did enough to maybe get 1 goal back, if I'm being really fair. I don't think Atletico Madrid really capitalized on having that extra man. I think they only did that in the last couple minutes. But I think that came down to fear. And, you know, that sort of thing. So let me pull out some stats really quickly. So let's go back to SofaScore here, folks. So let me pull that up. So there we go, folks. You're not going to see me. Let me see if I could do that. I want to leave some of the comments up. So these are the full-time stats, folks. Let me refresh this as well. So brought to you from SofaScore. As you can see, I don't know if you guys could see it really well. I don't know where to put this thing. Let me see if I could... Maybe that may help. It's too small. Anyway, you guys don't need to see my face for this. But as you can see here, look at the Barcelona shot map. Look at those shots. 18 shots. This is a team with one player less. Look at all these shots here, folks. You can see it on the screen here. I have my mouse, my cursor on it. All these shots here. 18 shots. And, you know, the possession was 56% for Barcelona. This is at home in the Camp Nou. And let's look at Atletico. Once again, 5 shots total, 2 goals. One was a free kick, of course, from Julian Alvarez. As you can see here on the graphic here, Julian Alvarez in the 45th minute, Soloth in the 70th minute, and then, of course, in the first half, Alvarez getting a shot, Simeone getting a shot that was wide, and Lookman. If you look at the momentum maps on the left over here, you can see once again the green over here. It's Barcelona's control of the game. And as you can see here, total control. You just saw 2 little spikes for Atletico Madrid here as well. And guess what? Within the little spike, there was one here and there was one here. Goal, goal. So, I mean, that is definitely a lesson in efficiency. I personally think, you know, what other stats do they have here from SofaScore? You know, SofaScore provides us with this data. They also give us some wonderful data. So as you can see, in terms of the defending, tackles won, I think, with all things considered, with being one man down, I think Barcelona played great football. Lamine Yamal has a 8.5 rating, Julian Alvarez 7.8, and I think Yamal was probably one of the key players, but I think Barcelona did really well, still keeping Atletico Madrid at bay. And I honestly think that that was because, you know, Atletico Madrid did not really capitalize on I think the numerical aspect. So, you know, just look at that. Look at the shots for Atletico Madrid. Look at the shots for Barcelona. That's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. And, of course, the expected goals went up to 1.21. Atletico Madrid, 0.45. And, you know, I noticed that in terms of controlling the midfield, Barcelona had no problems controlling Atletico Madrid. So, folks, like I said, this is a stream that I don't usually do. You know, this is UEFA Champions League. I will be doing more as well. Let me know who you think is going to win. A lot of people are saying Bayern Munich. A lot of people are saying PSG. Some people are even saying Arsenal. Let me know your thoughts because, you know, when you do your thoughts, comments, and suggestions, you know, you automatically qualify for a chance to win a copy of EAFC jerseys. You know, even behind, you can't really see them. There's Atletico Madrid over there. We give away a lot of prizes. You qualify for the chance. We do a random draw, and you win a jersey. So today, I don't know, maybe it was foreshadowing. I gave Alvarez, and I just realized I forgot, you know, we have the Julian Alvarez 2022 kit over there, off to the camera there. It's coincidence, because I like Argentina. So, folks, like I said, you know, I don't usually do this. I usually do Trinidad and Tobago games. This is a UEFA Champions League stream. And I may or may not do some in the future. But let me know your thoughts. There's a lot to talk about. The World Cup is coming up. I will be doing stuff for the World Cup as well. I will be doing some discussions for the World Cup coming up as well and some other podcasts as well. And for other content, you could check out the other, you know, videos on the YouTube channel. Also follow us in these links below on our social media. Head over to extvmedia.com as well. We have interesting posts. And you know, you can check out our interviews with ESPN FC, Shaka Hislop, where we have discussions. Kenwin Jones, former Stoke City, Sunderland player, Atlanta United striker. And, you know, for those of you like cricket and so on, we have that as well. You know, there's lots to talk about. And there's a lot we're going to do. So look out for those things. Feel free to give me your thoughts, comments, and suggestions. Head over to our YouTube community. I will try to create a WhatsApp community group as well, where people could join in as well. But, you know, continue. This is different. I think Atletico Madrid deserve to win today. Like I said, I am an Inter Milan fan. I had no horse in this race today. I enjoyed it as a neutral. I think Atletico Madrid were an example of efficiency today. I think Barcelona, considering they had one man down, it was a perfectly fair red card. I think Barcelona did really well to control the game so much in the second half and to cause problems for Barcelona. I think Atletico Madrid were just scared of conceding another goal, and they did not fully commit. I think This Atletico Madrid team does not have that control in midfield at all. It hurts them. I said before, they had players like Rodrigo de Paul, and Antoine Griezmann can't do it himself. Lookman is more an attacking third type of player. But that sort of player that kind of controls the middle. Atletico do not have that player. And their centre-backs are not the watertight defenders like, I mentioned a million times, like Miranda, Godin, and these types of players. So, folks, with that being said, don't forget to like, subscribe, continue to support us, continue to check out our merch. I have links in the description below. You can check that out. And, for those of you that missed the stream and are joining in, let me know your thoughts. Who do you think is going to win the Champions League? A lot of people, their favorites are Bayern Munich. Let me know your thoughts. So, with that being said, folks, I'm going to wrap this up. And stay tuned for more content, interviews, and World Cup discussions as well as Caribbean discussions about Jamaica not making it to the World Cup, and more. So like I said, folks, take care.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching HUGE TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe.